Well, hello. It is October the 16th, Friday, and that means it's time for a status chat. Now, I do have your numbers, but before I get to your numbers, I thought I might go ahead and share with you a little bit about episode 6 of the live stream. It's an opinion piece where I look at a couple of subjects, the environmental stuff, radon, mold, mildew, wood-destroying organisms, which include the wood-destroying fungi that may eat your house, and several issues. It should be very helpful. I think it's very helpful. It contains a lot of information. Again, it's an opinion piece. I'm not practicing anything outside my expertise, but I will show you the link in the description of that video where you can look up the laws for yourself, the law, the rule that I cite in here regarding the Inspectors Act of 2005. And we talk about, obviously, some of the codes. We go to some government sites. We look at some issues kind of in a big umbrella, just a flash at it, because sometimes it may actually save someone tens of thousands of dollars in remediation that may be overkill, may not even be necessary. The question is, how do we know? This will give you some good background to kind of check that out. Now, before I roll that clip, we got to do this. Delbridge Benchmark Realty, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. If you're currently unrepresented and would like to know how to compare up to 3 properties side by side, room by room, then go over to my new YouTube channel, subscribe while you're there, watch the demo. Afterwards, get with me and we'll set up your exclusive account today. Okay, here's the clip. And it's just a little section out, just a few minutes. It's a long video because so much of this wraps back and forth. And again, I look at the code, the IRC 2018 second printing is what I actually pull up online. That's not what the state has adopted as the bare minimum in the state of Tennessee where residential codes exist, but it is the most current code that's available, whether it's adopted or not. And of course, the state may be on the 2012. Some other jurisdictions may adopt newer editions of the code. So I give you those I just show you what I'm looking at online, and I just kind of talk about it. The opinions are my own, and I don't give advice, but they're just there, something for you to consider, have a little bit better arrow in your quiver, to quote somebody here famously use that expression, just to give you another tool. Healthy homes, this is the Radon Program. What is radon? Is radon a problem? What are the health hazards? You can educate yourself at your leisure of what radon is and what risk it has. Let's read what it says, what Tennessee, the state of Tennessee, says about mold. And this is the Department of Health. And you click this, and this page is free radon test kits, including any controls normally operated by the owner of the building for the following component. Now notice this, for the following components. For the following components. Notice this word up here, a visual analysis. In this, it doesn't say you have to put a moisture barrier. But there are some other requirements that you might put a barrier for. Let's look at this one. All right. Protection against subterranean termites, okay? So subterranean termite control methods, okay? And it says right here in this line, moisture is the problem. Mold is a moisture problem. If your house is dry, you don't have mold. See, this is where people get really confused. Your requirement is that it be ventilated to keep it dry, okay? And it meets that requirement. You get down to here, it says you can reduce the amount of opening if you put like the pool liner stuff in there and keep the moisture way, way down. It doesn't mean you have to close off the vents. But now guess what happens? This next line, unvented crawl space, if you do the pool liner and plug up the air so that it gets no air. Then you have to do this down here in blue. Dehumidification size to provide 70 pints or 33 liters of moisture removal per day for every 1,000 square feet of crawl space. The Tennessee Department of Health does not do mold testing. Well, I would infer that if mold was a significant health hazard, if it was a health hazard per se, the Department of Health would do something about it. Read the next line. We do not know of any government agency that will test your home for mold. Again, because it's not really a problem, I don't think. It's just my opinion. Based upon the sources I read, mold and mildew are not health problems. They're not defects. Perhaps a leak that's caused them might be a defect, but not the mold itself. Read this next line. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, the CDCs, and the EPA do not recommend testing. This next cut. The Tennessee Department of Health and Tennessee Radon Program support the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency. TDEC supports the EPA's belief that every home should be tested in order to know the home's radon level. So the government, this site, Tennessee, is telling us, in their opinion, they support the EPA's suggestion that every home get tested. It's not a mandate, but they can. Here we go. Radon tests are available for purchase at many home improvement stores. We apologize for the inconvenience. We don't have the free test today, but you can go get it. So anytime you want to, you can get your home tested for radon. Well, let's look at last week's numbers. Last week we had a 6211, which was an increase over the previous week. In the active, we had 4447 in the under contract still showing with a ratio of 72%. Now when I look at this week's numbers, I find that we have 6044 in the active in the system, which is actually a slight decrease, with the under contracts also slightly decreasing at 4410, and the ratio is 73% between the two of those. So we appreciate you watching. Check that out online, and if you will, please subscribe to the YouTube channel Call Del to Sell. That's one L in Del and no spaces in there, because it helps encourage me to produce this type of content. Because after you see this hour show, episode 6, where all I'm doing is I'm showing you the plain Tennessee English, or what the language says, and I let you put your own mind to it. So it's just there. This stuff takes a lot of time, and if it's helpful to you, the best way to show that is by watching them and subscribing them and even sharing a few of them. So we thank you very much. Have a blessed weekend.